Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. By the time you see this video, the submission period for the Christmas Ornament Challenge will be over. Then it'll be the hard work of judging and notifying the winners, but it is all still fun in the end anyway. But I want to get a start on next year's Christmas ornaments, even though it's still this season, and make this Christmas ornament. Now this one, I've thought about it and I thought, well, why don't I use that piece of lamination that I have left over from the rolling pins that I made some time ago. And I wondered, well, do I put the laminations in a vertical orientation, or do I make the laminations horizontal in orientation? So I decided to compromise and put them into a vertical or a diagonal orientation, slice it in half so that I can mix it up in between, twist them around into a different format. Now the other challenge with this one is I needed to put it on my pen mandrel, but none of the bushings fit, so I had to make these high density polyethylene bushings. They will actually fit anything from 3/8 probably up to a ½ inch. I'll be able to use those and keep those in the future. So that was the other challenge with this one. Then just a finial out of a tropical pen blank, and we're off and running, getting ready for Christmas. This year or next year, doesn't really matter. This ornament will last. Let's make it.
I cut off a length from my lamination stack, then flattened 2 opposing corners. I thought it would be easier to mount between centers than any other way I could think of. The flats accommodate both centers. Then it doesn't take too long to get it rough round, despite coming loose once. Next, I cut a tenon type mount on each end. I'll need these later for a chuck mount. Now it's ready to part in half. For this half, I'll hollow it, cut a small mortise, and drill through it for the finial mount. Now I need a thin piece of walnut for the middle. I've cut a square and mounting it to a wooden faceplate with double stick tape. I'm rounding it off, then cutting a tiny tenon to match the mortise in the first half. Then glue the first half to this small tenon. Now I'm mounting the other half to hollow, cut a mortise, and drill this half. However, I hollowed it just a little too much. Not much room for a mortise. I've mounted the first half back into the chuck, and I'm removing the center. This was a mistake because I cut too much out and did not leave enough for a tenon. Then as I tried to cut the tenon, the wood was too thin to serve it. I had to just flatten it and glue it directly together. And without the alignment from the tenon, the second half shifted just a little. With the whole body now mounted to the chuck, I'll finish shaping one side. Top or bottom does not matter right now. I'll sand this side now while it's easy. To finish the opposite end, I want to use my pen mandrel. However, the bushings do not fit my 3/8 inch finial holes, so I've mounted a 1 by 1 by 3 inch piece of high density polyethylene into my long nose jaws. I'm rounding it enough to cut a short tenon, then flip it around and cut a similar tenon on the other end. I'll use the one now, but use the either again later to tune up the bushing is needed. Finally, I'm tapering the center. I don't like turning high-density polyethylene. the shavings tend to wrap around the workpiece and are hard to remove. Then I need to clean the shop separately since I don't want the plastic out in the garden. Then mount the ornament body on the mandrel to finish up the shaping. The bushings worked perfectly. Then sand and finish the body with brushing lacquer. Finally, the finials. First, the small top finial. I'm cutting a 3/8 inch tenon with the tenon cutters. Then, doing most of the shaping while still attached to the rest of the pen blank. Then sand and finish before parting off the finial. Then a quick reversal to drill and tune up the tip. Now for the bottom finial. I have it mounted still to the long nose jaws. I'm cutting the tenon the same way before shaping the top half of the finial, then reversing the finial onto the 3/8 inch tenon to finish shaping the remainder of the top finial. Finally, I'm sanding and finishing the finial. Final assembly consists of buffing, making a wire hanger, and gluing the finials to the body. And it's finished, in plenty of time to decorate the Christmas tree. It's not terribly fancy, but still, I made it, and I can be proud of it. Hopefully, my grandchildren can enjoy it long after I'm gone. That's all for this Christmas ornament. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends. Please wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough protection. I am Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. Come back next week for a new wood turning video.